So we're going to be taking a look at the Revelation Skeletor, so stay tuned. Okay, so I filmed this video yesterday, but I ran into a big problem with the footage. The whole entire video was corrupted, so now I'm having to refilm it, and now you made me wonder why I didn't just reuse the same footage, just because I had to delete some of that footage because it was my microphone had died, so it didn't record some of it. So now I'm just completely having to redo the whole video. But anyway, this is the Revelation Skeletor, and this is the way he appeared in the Revelation Netflix series. So without further ado, let's get into the packaging. So for the packaging, it's mostly the same as He-Man's packaging from my last review, but it is slightly different though. As you can see, it's got the same stuff at the top. It says Masterverse like He-Man's, but it says Skeletor at the bottom instead of He-Man, obviously. And it also says Skeletor on the side there. And the Evil Lord of Destruction. So you flip it around, you actually got a cool portrait of Skeletor there, which looks really, really cool. The artwork on these packaging is just cool. The bottom there's not much down there. But on the back there, you got a really cool artwork of Skeletor. There's above. If you want to read that, you can go ahead and pause it. Also, you got some more figures in the line there. I have He-Man, but I don't have Moss Man or Evil Man. I might, invest in those a little bit later. But today we're looking at Skeletor. But the artwork on these packaging is just cool. If you could display these without them taking up a bunch of room, that'd be awesome. So he comes with one of two alternate hands here. His other alternate hand I've misplaced it. I could find. It's like a fisted hand, but this is the alternate open hand. See, it's mostly encased in his blue skin tone, but it does have the black retro looking fingernails, which is cool. It's kind of glossy too, as you can see. Now the way this works is you take and you unpeg the hand from Skeletor's wrist there, and you can peg this hand. And this one's a little hard to get in there, but you see there's what it looks like with the hand in, so you kind of got him in an open hand, like magic casting pose, I guess you could say. He comes with the shaping staff, which is, something he did use in the Revelation series, but the shaping staff actually dates back all the way to the Filmation series back in the 80s. Because this was in an episode of the Filmation series, which, it was a little bit different than it was in this series, but it's still the same. So, which that's pretty cool. I like how they, a little bit of references from other areas, in Motu history, which is pretty cool. But as you can see, this has no paint details on whatsoever. It's all completely just a solid gold plastic. Then it's just got the ring around the top and everything. It looks pretty cool. Now he can hold it in either hand. Now his right hand has got a little bit of a looser grip, as you can see. He doesn't want to hold it good. He holds it a lot better in his left hand. He gets a lot tighter grip on it, as you can see. Skeletor could not be Skeletor without his Havoc staff. And as you can see, it's a lot different looking than most Havoc staffs. This has actually got a more detailed ram skull, as you can see, than other ones. And here it is compared to the vintage Havoc staff, as you can see. It's wildly different looking. The ram skull's a lot longer on the top. The horns are stick out long on the back there, as you can see. And this is a darker purple than this is. But the ram skull can actually be removed from the staff itself, because you can kind of recreate that from the show, where Evil Man had the ram skull, which Skeletor was supposed to have died, but he actually transferred his essence into the Havoc staff itself, so that's how he never did actually die. But you can just peg that right back on, as you can see, and he gets good grip in either hand. Now his right hand is a little bit looser, kind of like the shaping staff, as you can see. It does kind of want to fall. Now I usually have him in a two-handed grip, so that's how I kind of fix that problem. So for articulation, Skeletor has a ball joint at the head, a hinge and a swivel at the shoulder there, a double hinge at the bicep, which mine doesn't really want to articulate there, but he's got a hinge at the wrist, which I actually forgot to mention on my other video I did on this one, but he's got some good ab articulation there. He's got a swivel at the waist, a swivel and a thigh cut joint there, as you can see. He's got a double joint at the knee, which is a little bit stiff. He's got a swivel at his shin guard there, and he's got a pretty good ankle articulation. He's got a hinge and an ankle pivot, I believe. So let's go with the sculpt, design, and color of Skeletor, starting with his head. So as you can see, this is based on the Revelation series by Netflix. The first series, and there was Revolution, but in Revolution he only looked like this in flashbacks and stuff. He stayed at Skellytech for most of the series. But as you can see, this his skull actually has pretty good details on it too. You can see it's kind of got some like pits and things on it there. As you can see, there's the nose and there's some black paint where his eye should be. The new Venture Skeletor actually had eyeballs, which look kind of weird. But I'm glad they didn't go with that look for the Skellytech, because I figured they were kind of going to do something like that, since that's kind of the whole point of the new Adventures. He had to attach pieces of the technology to his body to survive. But as you can see, he's got his teeth are painted a little bit different from the skulls, and makes him kind of stand out, which is pretty cool. His hood is a dark, or kind of like a lighter purple with a point there, as you can see. It's got some fabric detail on it too, which is pretty cool. Now his armor is standard for Skeletor armor. It's kind of got like the Horde logo in it there, as you can see, because he was once part of the Horde. He's got the skull and the crossbones on it, and the the shoulder pauldrons with the studs and the kind of sculpted leather material, which is pretty cool. Now, as you can see, this kind of floats around. The reason for that is you can take and remove this. You can remove the cape if you want to. And you can remove this entire harness if you want to. But then you can put this back on, and you can have a more classic-looking Skeletor without the cape. I prefer him with the cape because he had it in Revelation, and Skeletor kind of looks cool with the cape. But you can see that kind of creates a problem. This wants to float around and get off the center, and so I wish they would have done that a little bit differently. But so going down his chest there, he's got a better chest. His blue skin tone, as you can see. On the back, you see the straps and stuff of his armor, which have studs and stuff on them. You wouldn't see that, but they put that there, so it's very nice attention to detail. And they kind of have like a leather sculpted texture, so that's pretty cool. Now his waist belt thing, as you can see, is purple on top, and it's got the black on the bottom with a little bit of purple wash and more leather sculpting on it, which is pretty cool. It's got the studs on the bottom of each one going around to the back. His legs are all blue, which they reused a lot of parts from He-Man, like the upper arms and the legs. The bottom arms have the fins, which is not what He-Man had. You can see his hands have the wretched, fingernails and stuff on them. His up legs right here were reused from He-Man, I believe, but the lower legs are different because he's got the shin guards and the monster feet, which he's got some long black toenails, which he probably needs to cut sometime or another. So for comparison time, here's this new Revelation Skeletor compared to his vintage counterpart there. As you can see, it's a kind of just a new modern version of that vintage figure, with a few slight differences, but still pretty cool. So here he is compared to the Dark Despot Frank Langella Skeletor from Master Universe Classics, and as you can see, the '87 live action movie Skeletor and the classic looking Skeletor look very different from each other, as you can see. Which a lot of the reason for that is because back then it had been hard to, do this right here in live action. That's why they ended up looking this way. But still, I actually like the live action Skeletor, though. I always thought he looked cool that way. And and Frank Langella's performance of Skeletor was just really memorable. And and I do like the live action movie. It didn't do very good, but it was I still enjoyed the movie. So here he is compared to Skelly God, which, as you can see, he's holding He-Man's power sword there, and that's because in the form of Skelly God right there, he now has the power of Grayskull, so that's why he's big and hulked out, and wildly different looking. But you remember, I did a short with both of these figures, and that short actually turned out pretty cool too. But yeah, I will review Skelly God soon. I don't know if it's going to be the very next thing I review, but I will review that pretty soon, because I'm actually really excited to review that figure. So look out for that one, because I have a lot to say with that figure. And last but not least, here he is compared to his arch nemesis, who he's inadvertently the uncle of, He-Man. As you can see, I already reviewed He-Man, so that's the last review I did. So if you want to go watch him, you can do so. As you can see, they reused a few pieces from Skeletor there, or from He-Man. I mean, from like the legs and the upper arms and things, and they added some new parts, so it makes it look different now. And you see, Skeletor looks a little bit shorter than He-Man. I don't know if that's just because he's hunched over a little bit, or because he is leaning a little more forward, so that may be what it is. So what do I think of this figure overall? It's a good figure. I've got a few nitpicks with it, like the way the armor is, put together. The top part wants to shift around on his neck because it's not attached to the straps and stuff. So it wants to get off center, and look odd. And another thing, I wish they'd give him a tighter gripping hand on his right hand, so you can get him in a good pose, but holding it one-handed with his right hand, because the right hand being more open, it doesn't hold the happy staff as good as you can see there. And the happy staff's top heavy because of the ram skull, so it wants to turn his wrist around and everything. So that's why I usually get him in a two-handed pose. He holds it better. So other than that though, it's a pretty good figure, and I really enjoy it. And I'll be excited to review Skeletor because like I said, I have a lot to say with that figure, but I'll get into that when we do a review of that one. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. That'll help me out a lot, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till next time.